Hi, this is Roger Peterson and welcome to this video. It is very common in Costa Rica to see individuals who fall in love with a particular piece of raw land and decide they want to build a dream home or investment project on that land. What they do not understand is how cumbersome and bureaucratic the Costa Rican government agencies can be to obtain construction permits. Of course, different areas are going to have their own nuances, but if you're considering purchasing raw land for construction, then you need to conduct extensive due diligence before you buy. In this video, we're going to chat with Freddy Alvarenga, a surveyor engineer with 15 years of experience in conducting property surveys, appraisals, environmental and construction permitting evaluations, so that he can share some of the tips for those of you considering the purchase of raw development land in Costa Rica. Hi, everybody. I'm here with Freddy Alvarenga, and Freddy owns the company SST Survey Solutions, and they are a company that basically assists developers, builders, anybody looking to do surveys or to do any real estate development or planning in the area. So, Freddy, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and what your company does with more detail?
My name is Freddy Alvarenga, and I'm some surveyor engineer. I represent SST, as you know. I know the market good here in the Peninsula Nicoya because I have 15 years working here. We are working in the whole country, but this is the main position that we are making different projects for different clients.
Okay, and Freddie, when we talk about the Nicoya Peninsula, your offices right now are in what area of the peninsula?
We are in Cobano now.
The Nicoya Peninsula, for those that don't know, it basically covers the an area coming from the whole tip of the peninsula of Costa Rica, Nicoya. And it's a very large area, and it's also becoming an area that's very, very popular in the last few years. Freddie, my question is as follows. We had a big real estate boom in Costa Rica in 2005, 2006, and then it died down in 2008, 2009. I think we're seeing another one now. What are you seeing right now in the last couple months?
The last 6 months, I can say that we were waiting this behavior, but in 2 years more, not as soon like now. But people are moving so fast. I think that the whole world are looking for a nice place to have an auction for the future. You never know when it's happen again, this kind of stuff. We are in the eye of the world, like a green country, and with less problem than our neighbors. Insecurity and the social part is very important, and we have a lot of places pretty nice, as you know. So I think that a lot of people in the whole world are looking Costa Rica in a best way for put her money here and made a house or made a hotel and different kind of business. The rent is pretty high now in this place. We don't have enough houses to rent, and this is the main business now. Everybody wants to have a place, how to build 1, 2, 3, 4 houses for rent, because the price is we never imagine how too fast grew up this industry.
That's a very good point that you make, because as somebody who came into the area, and you see the rental prices are just extremely high, and it's because, as you say, that there's not enough houses built on the market, so everybody's running to build, which leads to the next question: is what should people be careful with when buying a piece of property? Let's say I want to buy a piece of property and I want to build 4 houses in order to rent. What should I be careful with?
The first step for this person is put in touch with some professionals that can help, because we have a lot of rules here, many law, and it's difficult to understand even for the professionals sometimes. So I think that you need a good lawyer and a good engineer too, both of them, because the idea is that the people explain exactly what they want to do, and we, like a professional, can say that is a good property for this idea or not. It's better to lose a little money with this answer, not after he bought the property. To save some little money, to the end you lose a lot of money. So first step is to contact the engineer and the lawyer, surveyor, engineer, because civil engineer is for the construction stage. Surveyor know the rules about the division, about the quantity of the you can do with the property, all the permits that you need to develop that.
Very valuable, important statement that you made, because I see that many times where people come to us once they've made the mistake, and that's worse. So I agree with you 100%. You know, a lot of people think that they look at a property, they fall in love with a property, and then they buy it without thinking or without hiring or getting into due diligence to find out exactly what you can do with the property. And that, I see it as a big mistake. And you're absolutely right. It's better to pay an engineer, surveyor that first looks at the property and tells you, yes, you can do the 4 houses, or you know what, no, you can't, and spend that money on due diligence. Definitely worth it. Now, I went once into the municipality of Cóbano, and they pulled out stacks of papers of uso de suelo permitting. So that tells me that there's a lot of movement going on. A lot of people are looking to build in the area. In this area, specifically Santa Teresa and Malpais, this area here, Manzanillo, I guess. What are you seeing as far as? Let me ask it this way. Let's say I want to build a one residential home, and let's say the land is allowed. What time frame do you see from start to finish to get the building permit? First
step is to see what is the connection for the entrance to this property.
Okay.
Because if you have public road, is an easy way to develop. The cover area for this property is 75% at least, because we don't have a regulator plan yet for the urban place or rural place yet. So the whole properties in this place in Paquera, Jicaral, and Cóbano is the same. If you are connecting with the public road, and you have access to service, is the second step that you need to be careful, because if you don't have water and electricity, you can build. Or in your project, you need to know that you need to invest in this kind of thing. Some people think only in the cost of the house and don't think that they need to spend a lot of money, maybe more than the house, to connect it with the red or electrical line or the pipeline, water line. If you want to do a hotel, condominium, something like this, you need a permission for the local government, a special permission. In Spanish is patente, a license. Yeah, it's a license. If you are, for example, not connecting with public roads, it's pretty difficult to have this kind of license. If you are not connecting with public road, the other option is servidumbre. You need to be careful with all these things. Imagine that you buy 10 hectares to develop and make labs in this kind of things, and they say that you can make only 2 hectare labs, like a minimal area. Yeah. You are losing your project because maybe you think about 20. So the cover area for this kind of lots is only 10%. It's not 75, like when you are connecting with public road. The thing now is that we have a big demand or lot, because people are taking the lot that was here before this law, and every day is less auction to buy. Prices are high for this reason.
You know, people don't realize the importance that it is to have that proximity to that public road now, right? I mean, and this just changed in the last couple of years when they created this INTA regulation. So this is something fairly new. So land that before was attractive, today probably is not as attractive because of this INTA regulation.
With all these regulations, you need to be careful, because if you are sure that what do you want to do and this property you can do it, is good. But you can buy, like before 2 years ago, you can buy a farm and you can develop all these things in 5,000 square meters and go with electricity and water and make the connection. And it was easy to make the process. You have to go to Setena for the movement of land. All these things the same. The problem was that INBU is the institution that is the regulator for division in this country, the planification. But the thing is that this is only for the coast, because in San Jose, in the Central Valley, everything is done. All the mess is done. But here they are stopping the development of the coast, and you are losing a lot of right for the property. The way to divide was small pieces of land and small developers.
Well, that answers a lot of questions, because that clarifies to me now why land is so expensive. Because if I have a piece of land that is the only piece that I can get permits, that land is worth a lot of money now.
Yeah, of course.
And the other land in the back that I can't get a permit, I can't do anything with. So
Yep.
the amount of developable land is actually dropping in the area.
Yep. That's the reason why the price is. It's two reasons. It's a combination between the people are trying to have something in Costa Rica because they think that here is a good place to live, and that's true. And we have a demand also. So the market is high, the price is high. So I recommend if you want to buy a property, ask all the studies first. Don't pay before that.
I think that's great advice. Definitely, like we said, as we started out, we said, due diligence is crucial. And I think hiring somebody like yourself, who's an expert in surveying and understands all these rules, is very important in order to avoid heartache and avoid losing a lot of money by buying the wrong property. One other question I had, Freddie, was related to water. Now, we live in a country that's, we have a lot of water. I mean, right now it's raining. So I'm being
yeah.
So everybody assumes, the country has a lot of water. So therefore, when I buy a property, I'm not going to have any problem with water. But what people don't understand is that we don't have the right infrastructure to get the water to the property. And without that infrastructure, you can't get a permit. So getting water availability is becoming also a crucial requirement to get the permits.
This requirement is all. It was the main problem. Now we don't look like the main because we have other news problems. Yeah, this is bad news. But yeah, of course, you need to be careful with that. If you have the possibility to search about if you can build a well in artisanal way or by hand or with a machine or engine, you can build. But the important thing is to know what do you need. All the systems here are small for a town. We don't imagine that our foreigners are coming to buy lamps and make houses, and they love to be far from the center town because they want to be in a green place with peace, listening the birds and looking the animals, and that's good. But we don't have infrastructure in water, in roads, in electrical line for that places. It's not like before that you need to save your money, thinking the future in long terms, buy a property and wait. No, you can't do that now, because before was easy. Now, no, you need to be sure about your project, because maybe to the end you lose your property because you can't make anything.
Great advice, and I like what you just said. The sense that people, if you're going to be looking for land, be sure that what you buy, you already know exactly what you want to do with it. The days of the past where somebody would buy a piece of land and then they would just let it sit there for 10 years to appreciate, that can become more risky today, because we have constantly changing environmental regulations that are just only getting stricter and harder to comply, which could, in fact, like Freddie says, could turn your property into something you won't be able to build. So if you're going to buy, what are you buying for? What are you going to build? And hire somebody that's going to be able to do extensive due diligence for you. So I think that's the lesson from this interview. And I really want to thank your time, Freddie. I really appreciate it. It's so important to hear the ideas, to make sure people stay out of trouble, make sure they buy property the right way, that they're not going to get into trouble. So I think people like yourselves who are experts is crucial for information for people to avoid getting into bad situations in Costa Rica, because we want people to come here and have a great experience in the country.
Okay, thank you.
All right,
thank you, Roger.